Boom. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's Cotsy. I'm Paulie. What's going on? Merry Christmas. Almost Happy New Year. We're almost done with 2021, which is insane. New format using StreamYard. It looks clean. I feel happy. Got the Hawks, got the Rangers behind me. Wearing the original Instigators Hockey Program shirt. Other than that, I like the banner at the bottom. I see we're broadcasting live. And here we go. Some shits and giggles. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some hockey. Chris, let's start off. I don't know if you have any pleasantries, but Chris.
I got one. It's slightly political. Bette Midler eats shit, okay? No, I want to thank Barry Shelley up with the Rink of Dreams there for steering us into this StreamYard thing. And even though you were talking about it at one time, but all that other stuff that we were trying to use for this podcast really was kind of shitty. Think about it, it was. So that's all I got for this year. I hope Bette Midler gets a lot of in that sloth face of hers.
Barry's in the chat room. I see him. How you doing, Barry? So
hey, Barry's the man. Barry's the man. This guy, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna have to go up there because he's got, as far as I know, probably the best historical memorabilia from hockey. Period.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I have no problem trying to plug Barry if he's trying to sell some memorabilia. Barry, you're more than welcome to put any information that you want right there in the live show feed with the chat room.
And stay off the eggnog, Barry.
I will say this. I want to go back. I want everyone to know that, Cotsy had approached me about getting back on the show, and we were very successful with Blog Talk. I have to say that was a great.
We had a lot of fun with it.
It was a great venue, and I just want to say that coming to the podcast side of things with visuals, and I'm going to be able to incorporate some video at some time, but I do want to say this.
And guests, don't forget we're bringing guests on.
Yes, and now we can because there's spots for it and there's the capabilities. But
you hear that, Darren Langdon, Paul Gardner? These are the guys I'm going to bring on.
I want to say that, the last couple of programs, if Cotsy knows that I'm a perfectionist, and it was driving me crazy. And I got this close to saying, if I can't find a venue that supports us and does what I need, then we're going back to Blog Talk Radio because I'm not doing this. So I feel good with StreamYard. I think everything looks nice and uniform. It's uploaded. I can see it's live. We actually have live guests. So I'm excited to move forward.
Can I get a word in here about what we texted back and forth today?
Oh, geez. Here we go. Go ahead, Cots.
This is good because Paulie apparently sent me a text last night about doing a show today, and I kept thinking it was about tomorrow, folks. That's just the dumb hockey player in me. So he texts me about, I want to do it today. I said, let's do it tomorrow. He goes, I can't tomorrow. I have a Christmas party after work. I text him back and go, NFL is on tonight. He goes, tonight is all I got. And I go, oh, well. Then he writes back, this is the best, folks. You got to hear listen to this. NFL, fuck that sport. That's my boy, Paulie D, right there.
Well, I never knew he was going to bring it up, but
I just thought it was pretty funny the way you said that. That's all.
And let me defend myself, and then we'll get into the program. But I don't like the leadership. I think there's a place for politics, and there's a place for sports. And I feel like if you can't stand for the flag, and I don't care what your justification is and your nonsense is, then I can't stand for your sport, and I will not. And I think it starts with the leader. Is there's men and women that protect us every day, that work under that flag, that live under that flag, and protect us under that flag. and I don't care what your political stance are. That's none of my business. But in the end, you play a sport. You get paid millions of dollars. The bottom line is that you should stand for the national anthem and you should respect your country. You make so much money, you could figure it out on your own time. But you've got many people standing in the fans that protect this country, that are men and women of the armed forces, and so on and so forth. And I'll just end it here. Stop the politics and the nonsense in sports. Go play the game and be grateful that you're making millions of dollars under that flag in a country that affords you that opportunity. When you can do that, I'll be happy to watch the sport again. Other than that, I'm not interested.
Well said, big boy.
With that being said, let's have some fun. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show once again. I'm really excited about the StreamYard. I feel good about this. Barry, I appreciate you telling Chris about it. My brother also told me about it, and I just feel real good. Let's go on. Let's move on. Let's instigate this show. I'm going to start with this, Cots. Once again, the NHL, I'll say it, shit the bed. ESPN Plus, what was it, a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, couldn't watch the game.
It was less than a week ago. Couldn't watch the NHL, couldn't watch the New York Rangers because it was on ESPN Plus. Once again, like I had said originally 10 years ago, when Gary Bettman came away from ESPN and went to the NBC Sports Network, I thought it was a mistake. Trying to grow the game at that time, ESPN being the absolute leader in all sport, why wouldn't you go? Now, backwards, you spend all this time and money and investing in NBC Sports to fall back into ESPN, and now you can't even watch games because if you don't have the stream, if you don't pay the extra money or whatever else it is, it's just a mistake on the management side of the NHL, and it just proves it again how many angry fans there were that night. Listen, I agree with you. I was quite shocked. I didn't know about it till actually the day of the game, and I wrote about it on Facebook. Fortunately for me, and I'll admit it, I'm guilty. I was able to get an illegal stream on my computer. I ended up watching the game, but I think it's bullshit that you got a team like the New York Rangers, and there's 3 games. There's 2 more to go like this, Paulie, where it's exclusively on ESPN Plus. Now, I think there's going to be a certain crowd that thinks, you're a bunch of cheapskates and stuff like that. That's not the point. The point is that years ago, I'll give you my explanation why I think it's stupid. I used to have the NHL package year after year after year, but I found after the first couple of years I had it, they started blacking out games on me here when they tell you exclusively on the NHL package, you get all the games all the time. Well, I used to get blacked out of Pittsburgh Penguin games, blacked out of Philadelphia Flyer games, blacked out of New Jersey Devil games. Not that I give a shit that I'd watch those guys, but why are you telling me I'm getting all the games? So I canceled it because I do get MSG, which is really the one that counts in my book. But for this ESPN Plus streaming thing, I mean, really? What a joke this is. You're going to pay an extra $7. I don't know what it is. Some people paid for it. I'm not paying for it. I'm going to get it illegally, Gary. I don't care what anybody says. I'll get it illegally. I'll have to watch it on my big night. What is it? I think I have a 27-inch screen here. I'll sit here all night and watch the Ranger game on that. It's just foolish for them, like you said, to try and grow the game, and yet you have to have special. You got to do something special money-wise just to get those games from the Rangers. I just think it's stupid. And while we're at it, I noticed last week too. Like, do you ever see any advertisement for the games that are on TNT or anywhere? Like, other than if you're not on TNT, you're not getting them, or TBS. Sorry, whatever it is. You're not getting them. And so far, for what I've seen, most of the games are late, 10 o'clock games.
Right.
I have no idea. You and I used to think NBC was pretty rotten. Well, you know what? Bring NBC back.
Right. At least we knew as fans where to watch the games.
Yeah,
and what to expect.
Well, you get an advertisement somewhere on any kind of NBC channel, whether it was a football game, whatever. You know what I mean? They'd advertise it coming on the weekends, whatever. But here, I'm having a tough time finding those games. Even though they're on, they're just not doing a good enough job to let the people know.
Very true. Very, very, very true. And, I'll add this. I'll add it, and then we'll move on to the next subject. In the end, and I guess this is going to be, a couple of parts through a couple of programs, but, I've never been a Gary Bettman fan for a lot of reasons in this sport. And we talked about so many different things, and I don't want to rehash a ton of it.
Yeah.
But again, executive decision to move from a venue that fans got used to, just like before the Gary Bettman era with ESPN. I remember when ESPN was the hockey channel. They had ESPN and ESPN2, and you could find a game every night.
Almost every night, almost every night.
And then they went away and went to this. And now you spent all this time, money, and investing in this to go and do the ESPN Plus and the nonsense that we got now after having shortened seasons, after having a pandemic take over the sport, to be at this place again. It just shows me that this is not the decisions being made are not the right decisions, and it's detrimental to the longevity of the game.
Listen, you and I, we're on the same page on this one. I just find it more difficult to watch games this year that are outside the Rangers realm. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know when they're coming on TNT or TBS. ESPN, I know them too. They put a couple games on, but it's just they're not doing a good enough job of letting us know ahead of time. And I'm not going to watch TBS or TNT 24/7 just so I can find out there's a game on that night. Okay,
right.
That's all I'm saying. So it is what it is, Paulie. But the ESPN Plus thing is aggravating, and I got a lot of feedback from the people when I posted it that night that we're not going to be able to get the game unless you get ESPN Plus. A lot of people are pissed off about it, and they have a right to be.
Sure.
Now we're going to have to go through it 2 more times with the Rangers this year. There's still 2 more,
right?
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, right. And I will exclusively steal the stream illegally just to watch it.
Now that you've said that, they're going to put better protocols in place.
It don't matter. There's enough geniuses out there. They can do whatever they want. We'll find it.
Well, I guess
we'll advertise it to everybody.
Yeah, we'll send it in a stream. We'll send it in a chat. Look for it exclusively in the Instigators Hockey Show Facebook group. With that being said, we're gonna move on here. We're gonna move on.
Yep.
I think probably the biggest topic, and I think it's important to cover it early. The Olympics and COVID /COVID, the Olympics, Beijing, China, COVID. You could do whatever you want right there, but there's a situation that we have as fans, as players, as broadcasters, as a sport, again, trying to break through. I'll start with this. I'm going to start from the back end and say, obviously, the NHL is shut down early with the COVID protocols. I think they're closed down until the 27th now. The Ranger game was supposed to be on tomorrow. That was postponed. I'm pretty sure tonight they're playing, but after tonight it's done, correct?
Yeah, from what I read so far, yeah.
Yeah, everything else is going to be postponed for early because of the COVID, and you can talk about COVID on your own, whatever else. But my point is this. The sport, and we talked about this, and this is what I love, Cots. For such a garbage stream we had the last couple of times, we got good information, and we have good topics, and we talk about the things that nobody else is talking about. We brought the Olympics up in October when we ran our first show.
Yes, we did.
And we spoke about COVID. We spoke about the game being shortened, the season's 2 years being shortened and delayed and changed and everything else. Why would the NHL even entertain going to Beijing or shutting down the game that has suffered again through a pandemic? And here we are. It looks like our information and our advice is being heeded, to say the least.
Well, I think they finally, got through their thick skulls. Quite honestly, with you, Paulie. I said it then in October that if I go back in time and be the 25, 27-year-old and be fortunate enough to be picked up by an Olympic team in Canada, and this is the situation that I'm in, where with the COVID and China being the country that released it. I'll be nice to them so far, but why would I go there to help them? Why would I go over there to make their image look good after what they've done to unleashed on this world?
Sure.
That's my first thought. Now the NHL, I think, realizes the pressure that's being put on with all the outbreaks of this Omicron, which will be another one. There'll be a Megatron next. There'll be something else. We all know the bullshit's coming.
Megatron.
Well, it is. I'm not saying it's not real, people. What I'm saying is it's going to be a never-ending thing as far as I'm concerned. Now, the NHL sending their players there with them possibly knowing that if they show any symptoms whatsoever, they're going to be quarantined for 3 weeks, plus add the 2 weeks of hockey. You're talking about almost a month and a half worth of spending time in the luxurious country of China. Like, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
If you got family, you got kids, you got a wife, you got a home you got to take care of besides your hockey career, why would you go?
Right.
And me, I'm going to stick with my personal feeling. I'm not helping that country out at all for what they've unleashed on this world. My good friend, I was talking to up in Brockville, Ontario today, Jeff Severson. I hope you're watching, Sevy. He came up with a good one. They have put the world on a leash. That's what they've caused. It's disrupted our lives. It's disrupted businesses. It's disrupted money. It's everything, the economy, you name it. Now, our entertainment's getting acting guns now. There's COVID protocols all over the place now. It's not just the NHL, but all you got to do is read all the sports sites. This guy's in protocol. This guy's in protocol. That guy's in protocol. Now, my last thing I'm going to say on it is China can do what I told Bette Midler to do. Okay, they can eat shit too. I could care less what people think. That's the way I look at it. Why would anybody in the right mind today try to make their image better now by going to the Olympics for anything right now?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
No, I agree. And, I think more importantly for the play. So there's another side of this. And, I had read a couple of articles about it, and I'm not going to do verbatim, but there's some players who are like, I never had a chance, and this is the chance, and I want a chance. And
Paulie.
Yeah, you know what, Cots? I thought to myself, with that being said, I don't think you can be any more selfish, to be honest, because if you look at what the game has done, and I will say this, they shut down the first year. They did a shortened season. They closed all the arenas. They took the fans out of it. They took the travel out of it. They all stayed in Canada. The second year, America played American teams. Canadian played Canadian teams. They had limited capacity, if any at all. So many things they had to do to play the actual sport in NHL that you're getting paid for, okay? You have the audacity now to say, well, if we have an opportunity to go to the Olympics, we should be able to go. That's bullshit, okay? And it's bullshit for a lot of reasons. For one, Kotze had said, why do anything with China right now after what's been unleashed? But if you want to take the political end out of it and you want to put the business end into it, the sport itself that's paying you money is turning games off, postponing games. We're still running through protocol. We have an early release now after tonight. There's a lot of things still being done because of COVID and all the variants and everything else. They're still not full capacity. How dare you even consider going to the Olympics and bringing back possibly COVID?
Yeah.
And, it blows my friggin' mind to think about the selfishness of a player or players that are upset about the fact that the NHL has truly leaned to the fact that we won't be closing down in February because we won't be able to have an 82-game season, and we pay you, besides the fact that we've done all of this to keep you safe, and then we're just going to open up the gates and let you travel all the way to China on how many planes and do so many different things and have to stay here and have to eat there and have to be here and be around all other different people from all other countries. Think about that.
No, Paulie, I said it a month and change ago. I told you, and I'm standing by it. I think it all finally came to fruition here with the NHL. Like,
right.
I still haven't heard them actually officially say it, but apparently they're not going. But there hasn't been anything, whatever, officially.
Right.
I think I said this too back in October about owners. I mean, why would I send my $10 million a year player there? You have an obligation to my team, to the jersey you're wearing that I pay you to play for. You have an obligation for that right now.
Exactly.
And listen, in a good world where things are normal, I get it. I get it that you want to play for your country.
And it's still a risk for the team. Yep.
Yeah, that part there. But the way things are now, it's ridiculous.
I agree.
It's ridiculous to even think about it. And I'm going to leave. I want to get off this subject, but I still think the world, for some reason, is still sucking China's ass and not doing enough to let them know what they've done to us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. And you're not going to take my opinion away. And if anybody has something different, that's okay with me too. I don't think they paid the price. And now you want to go to the Olympics and, wow, everything's fine and dandy? What, are you kidding me?
Right.
Let's get off of this shit.
All right. Well, I know you got a couple things you want to talk about. You want to talk about Boudreaux and the Canucks?
That's I feel bad for Jim Benning, who was a teammate of mine in Toronto. Good guy and everything. He had a knee injury, I think, in his second year with me in Toronto. And, I didn't. As years went by, I guess he worked his way into running basically an NHL hockey team, which is the Vancouver Canucks. And, it's really funny how things go bad with the same roster, and yet things can go so good with the same roster at the same time. And sometimes you need a kick in the ass. And there's Gabby. Gabby is his nickname, Bruce Boudreaux, who liked to chirp a lot. A guy I played against in junior and in the AHL and the NHL. And he's had pretty good records in the NHL wherever he's been. And it's a pretty good thing, for Vancouver to bounce back. I think they're 5-0 or something like that under him. Believe it or not, back in the playoff race, which is a good thing if you're a Vancouver Canuck fan. But it's just really weird, like how in sports in general, all you need to do is change management, coach, and all of a sudden the players start playing better. It's like somebody put a fire under their ass, But I think it's a good thing. I think Boudreaux's a good coach. He's good for the NHL. And it's good to see the Vancouver Canucks playing a lot better hockey. But they're another team that was under COVID stuff, just like every other team.
So, Cots, bringing the NHL defensemen that played in this league, different era, but it's still at that capacity. How does same team different coach, seem to turn it around 180.
If we knew the answer to that, we'd be trillionaires, not just billionaires. Because you can use that. You can kind of use that recipe in any business. Any kind of company, any kind of business. I just know from the turnovers that I had in my career with coaching staffs and management stuff like that is, I think everybody realizes that their jobs are kind of on the line here. No matter who you are, what you've done in the past, it's all about the present. So, and I don't understand why we think this way as an athlete. And I don't understand why we actually do this as an athlete. Because you should be good all the time. You should be trying hard all the time. But it does give you that little extra giddy up and go to make sure that you've secured your job in the future with that team. Because once new management comes in, a new coach comes in, you're going to get fired before they do. You know what I mean? You're going to be traded, whatever, before they do. In other words, it's all on you as the player now. So I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons right there, because Vancouver's roster is not that bad. It's not. It wasn't playing up to its potential under the old coach and under Jim Benning. So now you got new management, new coach, and all of a sudden the roster's starting to play like it was expected to play. It's the sad reality of pro sports.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I can use you as an example. You do great work for what you do for a living, working at BMW. You're in charge of a lot of people there. The guys, whoever's above you in that place, if he gets fired tomorrow and a new guy comes in, how are you going to feel the next day?
Yeah.
You think you're going to be the same as you were the day before? No. You're going to be a little bit more alert. It's just it's a natural process.
Yeah. Makes sense. Or
you could be like Paulie D. Isn't tell him to go fuck himself. I'm going to another dealership. I don't know. But I'm just saying. I mean, that's what happens when the upper tier gets moved around. You
a little more conscientious.
You get a little bit more
as a player. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to be, but it happens. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you should have been there already. Sure. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I mean, aside from that, it's just I find that, like you said, we'd be billionaires. I just find it to be almost like this crazy, phenomenon where it's the same team, different coach. And I guess I get a little more analytical. I think to myself, okay, is it that, I guess you can think about it as in other things in life. Is a better strategy built around the players that you have? Is it a better coaching scheme? Are there better plans as a coach or strategy as a coach that fit different players? And I think obviously you, as a coach and with a coach mindset, you have to coach people to their abilities.
I agree.
And that's what you do. And then you can see a huge change from this style didn't work with this team, but this style does because the personnel fits it better. And
you're onto something there too. That's part of it too. We got a coach that wants a certain player to play a certain way. He wants this certain group of players to play a certain way, and he wants a style for his team to play a certain way. Now, maybe Boudreaux came in and has changed it, tinkered around and said, okay, whatever you're doing before, you're going to do. This is what I want you to do.
Right.
I always felt, as a player, I don't buy into that one for all for one bullshit. Okay, trust me, it does. That's bullshit. Anybody tells you that, of course, I never won a Stanley Cup, so I guess the Stanley Cup winners can all tell me I'm full of crap. But I'll call them out and say, I'm right. Well, you think Wayne Gretzky got treated the same as the 24th man on that team? You know what I'm saying here?
Right.
So, it'd be like me asking Panarin to say, listen, we know you can score. We know you can stick in. I want you to be a hitter now, a physical force. Duh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got a good coach will figure out how to put that player, that individual player, into the best position where he can do good for the team.
Right.
I always told my coaches, you're better off just leaving me the fuck alone. And I never had one coach complain about my play. They might have complained other things, my off ice, shenanigans, breaking curfew, and all that crap. But I never had one coach at all ever criticize me for how I played for him.
Right.
I didn't need that kind of guidance. I knew what I had a job to do, and I did it. Okay? Some guys need a kick in the ass. Some guys need a benching to get get them going again. That's up to the coach to figure them out individually. That's why I try to say, I know Barry Melrose isn't coaching right now, but my short time with him in Glens Falls, Adirondack, my last year pro,
right,
I saw him do that with a lot of players down there. He figured out how to push buttons on players, and that's why he was successful in LA. Now, it didn't carry over to Tampa for reasons that we all know about, but he was good at that. He was really good at understanding a player. And Boudreaux, I think, has the same kind of ability.
Yeah.
Some people need to be slapped to wake up. Some people don't. Some people need to be urged. Some people don't. You know what I'm trying to say, Paul?
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to everyday life. Some people need a push. Some people don't.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. It's really what's part of what makes, good coaching and good, it's what it was.
And I'll add one more thing. The player has to have some pride too.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me, though.
And responsibility.
I played enough years. Okay, listen, I didn't play 20 years, but I played almost 10 full years. I've seen some players that didn't have any pride at all. So
yeah,
you got to have pride in what you do. Like you could be on a good team, a middle of the road team, or a bad team. No matter what, you got to go out and play, and you got to do the best you can. If it's good enough for a win, fine. If it's not good enough for a win, look in the mirror and say, "Did you do the best you could do?"
Right. Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. You got to have pride as a player.
Absolutely. No, so it'll be interesting to see how Vancouver shakes out now under Boudreaux.
I think they'll be all right. I think that I listen. They obviously got that jolt. They're 5-0 since then.
Yeah.
Now you got the postponements and all this stuff, but I think they'll be all right the rest of the year. To be honest with you.
Yeah, and I think you make the other point of that is and we're gonna get into it right now in our next segment of the program. I think we should do dropping the gloves again. We're gonna start that, but
you just want to do that because I'm getting older now.
Nah, I think our next segment people are really gonna like, and I'd like to see some people get involved in the chat room too.
Yeah.
But ending off with the Canucks here is that 5 in a row look like they're going to turn it around. It makes it interesting.
Who are the Canucks?
The Canucks. And we're going to get into contenders and pretenders.
There's a lot of them.
There's one way we can do this. We can go through every team.
If you want. You can do that, but that would take forever. But
all right. Well, we got about 30.
Listen, you can go through every team right now. Okay, do that, and we'll just keep it short. All right. All
right. Well, you can't always go first, so.
No, you're going to name the team, and then we'll go back and forth.
Okay, so we'll start off in the East. Okay, guys, this is contenders and pretenders
for the Stanley Cup. In case you're wondering.
For the big show, for the big show. All right, we'll start off in the East. Tampa Bay Lightning. They are 19-6-4 for 42 points. Cots, are they contenders or pretenders?
Pretenders.
Woo! He's starting off hot already.
Damn right. Listen, I know we got to keep this short. I can't see them doing it 3 years in a row. That's all.
Phil Russell says three-peat in the chat room. I love it.
Who's that?
Phil Russell says.
All right, Phil. Good for you.
He says a three-peat.
I don't see it happening. I think somewhere they're going to stumble. They haven't had a full team, a full roster this year. They're not going to get lucky. They're not going to get lucky and play the shortened season and the crap season like the year before. You know what I mean?
I was swinging now.
Then again, they might.
I can't. So I am going to disagree. First of all, I like what you just said though. All the stars haven't aligned for them here. I can't count them out though. And I like Matt. You're killing me over there. Okay, Matt's killing me. Bring back Peter Pruka. I love it. That's hilarious.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
I'm going to say I think Tampa Bay is definitely a contender.
All right.
All right?
Next.
All right. So now I'm going to go first, but I'm going to steal it here. Toronto, 28-2 with 42 points. They had a rough start. And,
they were awful.
And it looks like they put it together. But you know what? I'm going to flip on you, Cots, and I'm going to say they're pretenders.
Ooh. I disagree with you on this one. Not because I'm an ex-Leaf, not because I'm born in Toronto. That's a little biased right there, isn't it? But I see them playing the type of hockey now that they need to play when it comes to the playoffs, which they haven't done for like 20 years. Okay. Their top 5 guys are all contributing. Tavares is second in scoring on that team behind Matthews. Marner, Nylander, Riley, all these guys are contributing. Now you got a little bit of grit there now. They brought in a couple of guys this year. But here's the kicker now. This is what's always killed them in the playoffs. Their defensive play. Well, go look at their numbers this year. Go look at Jack Campbell's goals against right now. They are contenders, and they're serious contenders.
All right. We're going to move on. The Florida Panthers, 18-7-4, 40 points. I went last, so you go. You pick first here, the Panthers.
I don't think they're contenders. I think they're a real good hockey club, and I think they've rebounded very well off the BS with the Joel Quenneville, resigning and all that stuff there. They've actually played, just as good, but somehow that running gun style of play that they play, which they played against Tampa last year in that 6-game series, they were up and down the rink big time. So I'm calling them pretenders.
I love it. We have a lot of comedians today in the chat room.
I love it. I want to. Aren't I supposed to stir shit up?
I love it. Oh my God, I love it, guys. Keep it up. I love it. So Anson thinks that the Panthers are legit. All right.
Listen. If I was right on all this, I'd be right in Vegas right now, taking your money.
Yeah, exactly.
On it. I'm just telling you what I think. That's all.
Moving to the Metro here.
So you think they're contenders?
I didn't answer. No, I feel like they're pretenders.
All right, next team.
But I'm gonna go back to this because I know you're gonna bring an argument in, and I'm gonna actually piggyback with that argument for the next team that we're gonna talk about right now. Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, 21-7-1, 43 points. This is such a tough.
Is this my turn? It's your turn.
No, it's my turn to go first. I am still not convinced that they're contenders, so I'm going to say pretenders, even with a record like that.
I want to. You know what? I want to say contenders.
I know you do.
But can anybody name me anybody on the Carolina Hurricanes right now.
And that's exactly where I'm going to piggyback you.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not knocking them. I think they're a pretty good hockey team, you know, and I think they might go a round or two. But to win a Stanley Cup, I think they're a pretender.
So,
but I can't name one guy on that team. Can you?
But I want to say the same thing about the Florida Panthers.
You're right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But Phil Brady Shea, that's a good one, Phil. That's a good one.
Ryan McDonough on Tampa.
We got Derek Stepan, yeah. Both really are no-name players. But anyway, with that being said, I'm not going to be mean. Here are two teams that are playing really good hockey, and like you said, you can't really name a lot of players.
Well, Yingling, just in case you're watching, Yingling, don't be afraid to sponsor us here. Okay? Screw Bud. Yingling.
But it's a great point. You got two teams that are playing good hockey that are very legit right now, and you know this is not an easy to say pretenders or contenders. We're talking about people that we actually think are going to be Final Four, competing for the Stanley Cup. So two excellent teams. You get to go for. Oh crap! You get to go first on this one. I lost it. Hold on. And this is going to be fun. So get ready for the humor, everyone. Metropolitan, the Washington Capitals, 18-6-7 with 43 points.
Pretenders. They're pretenders, period. Nothing needs to be explained.
Caps is a big fan of the Caps, everybody, if you don't know.
Pretenders.
I'm going to say contenders. You can never count that team out with the firepower there. I just think that this team, as the season goes by, is going to get scarier and scarier when it comes to playoff time. And that's, that's just me being forthright here.
Yeah.
All right.
We all know why they're pretenders to me, so we'll just move on to the next team.
Exactly. All right, here we go. A lot of people are probably not going to like this answer, Cots. The New York Rangers, right here. 19-7-4 with 42 points. Are the Rangers a pretender or a contender?
You're first.
I thought I went first. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, don't start trying to shake it up here. Come on.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I love the New York Rangers. Everyone knows I'm a fan, but I think they're pretenders, guys. I'm sorry. I don't think they're ready for the big show. I think there's a lot of weaknesses. There's a lot of great points. There's a lot of, a lot going on. Don't get upset. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I would say that they're pretenders. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender.
Oh, I have to agree with you now. Well, listen, they're my first team. They're in my heart all the time because I had such a great time playing there for the 1 year. I think they've surpassed everything that was expected of them so far this year. We got to be pleased with that. I think there's some growth there that still needs to be done. I think their goaltending situation, I'm going to get a little bit more in depth than all the other teams with them. Their goaltending situation is really good. In order for them to become contenders, they got to get better defensively, and I'm talking about the forwards and the defensemen communicating with each other inside their zone. Okay, that part there, and we need some more scoring. They need to find guys that are going to contribute other than Panarin, Kreider. Zibbs is starting to pick it up a little bit. Strome. They need some more offense out of the third line, period, plain and simple. Now, we're talking about Kakos, Lafreniere, this, that. These guys need to pick it up in order for them to even come close to being a contender. But that being said, we all know how the playoffs shake out. Nobody expected the Montreal Canadiens to do what they did last year, right? So, hopefully, here's my fingers crossed. But, yeah, they're right now, I'd say they're pretenders.
I just gotta say that
How come I'm not getting these? What you're
you gotta open up the chat room because I'm.
Well, I don't know what it is. You're talking about old school guy here. Where's my chat room?
So
I'll chat with the host and other guests.
Yeah, it's in there. These guys are killing me. I got tears in my eyes.
I imagine they are.
Anson, I want to meet you in person. You're killing me right now. He said, what did he say? He's just like, just wait till Mike Sauer gets healthy. I can't, man. I can't right now. He's killing me. Oh, man. Some funny.
Yeah, I'm not getting the other. I'm just getting our private chat. So
I don't. So, Cots,
there it is. Okay.
There it is. You see it? All right. Oh my God! So I'm enjoying it, guys. Thank you for.
Well, you know what, Phil Russell. I do want to say that to you. Trouba is playing like a beast.
He is.
Trouba's playing like the $8 million man that he is.
Absolutely, he is a leader. You know what? And I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago. And I don't want to get too far off course because I know we're going to come back to this. But I got to tell you, I mean, to watch him with this team right now, I mean, he's led by example. The guy, he's chewing up some minutes. He's taking the body hard. He's shooting when he's supposed to. I'm really, when we got him from Winnipeg, I was so excited because I knew the player that he was. And I think, he got buried somehow and, maybe some injuries and things like that. But I think this year, absolutely, guys, he's probably one of the biggest standouts. And I'm so glad that tonight they played back-to-back games against, it was Chicago, and I forgot who the second game was. It might have been, was it the Avalanche? I'm not sure who the second game was. But he threw 2 big hits in 2 big games and didn't get in trouble for it, and rightfully so. Stick down, hand down, making contact, and just, I'm really happy with the way he's been playing. And I tell you what, he's shooting the puck when he's supposed to. He's just making simple decisions, and he's very decisive in everything that he's doing right now.
Yeah, again, his physical play is what's really piqued my interest. He was kind of physical when he first got here, but not. He's been laying out some guys pretty damn good lately, and I don't know what the NHL's thinking about all this crap with the hits. They're trying to really get away from all that stuff. And I always thought hitting was part of the game, Paulie. What about you? I mean, geez, you're trying to take away hitting. Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Oh, hey, Hanson, by the way, Santa did put his glasses on. Okay. I just want you to take a good look at me, because if you're younger than 40, you're gonna look something like this one day. Trust me.
Oh my God.
Head hits. There you go, Phil. I like that too. Head hits. Keep your fucking head up. That's all I got to say to you.
Yeah.
Guys don't keep their head up today. They think that big, enormous rule book that these geniuses at the NHL came up with is going to protect them. Do they wear that on their head? When they go out on the ice, that rule book? No. It's not going to protect you.
Yeah.
Be aware of what's around you, for Christ's sakes. It's a fast-moving game. There's guys out there that are willing to take your head off, so you should understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you and I have been beating that dead horse for 10 years now, Paulie, about guys not keeping their head up. I mean, where did you learn how to play hockey? By not understanding who's on the ice with you, where they are at all times, what situation you're in, and what situation you're not in to get killed like that.
Amen. I mean, so I'm glad to see the non-calls, and I'm glad to see that we're able to see that part of the sport and not diminish as much.
And what the other thing I want to say about that too, Paulie, is back in my day, if you hit one of our stars like that, obviously we'd go after you. But there's a limit, okay? Your number one guy, your number two guy, number three guy. But after that, everybody was fair game. In other words, you got hit. If you were the number 4, 5, 6, 7 guy that got hit like that, we didn't go after the guy for you. You came back to the bench after it all, and we tell you right to your face. Keep your friggin' head up.
Right.
But today, it could be the worst guy on your team on the ice gets hit and immediately gets attacked by an opposing player.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. Is it a game of hitting? It was a clean hit. It wasn't called up. Why is that happening more often now? You know why? Because the NHL thinks they can protect everybody. That's why.
Yeah. We spoke about this 10 years ago, and it's funny how we're still talking about it. You know, I just find, you know, when that actual hit happened, and you never want to see a player get hurt. I mean, that's not what we want to see. I don't want to see a guy laid out on a stretcher. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you said this, I've said this. It was part of the game when you played. I mean, at some point, the onus has to be on the guy carrying the puck, closest to the puck. You know, when the puck is in your feet, you still have possession of the puck, because I've seen 1,000 hockey players 1,000,000 times kick a puck to a player or to their stick or whatever else. If the puck is in your presence, within your circle, with stick length or foot length or whatever it is, and you got your head down and somebody lights your candle, cleans your clock, that's on you. That's not on the player attacking the puck. That's what this game's about. If you got your effing head down because you're looking for the puck, you know, nobody says anything when a guy makes a great play with his foot or with his stick or however else it is, okay? But if you're looking down and you're going to kick a puck and you get your lights, you know, shut down, automatically, oh, it's a headshot, it's a penalty, you know, the guy got hurt. It's, you know, it's ridiculous. I was very happy to see that there was nothing called in the game and that it was not discussed afterwards. And I was actually very disappointed, if I'm being honest, and I won't mention any names, but the game was on, I believe it was I don't know if it was NHL Tonight or whatever.
It was the TBS broadcast with Paul Bissonnette.
Yeah, and
you brought this up to me. I didn't see it. So,
and a bunch of guys were like, "Well, you know, I don't know. You know, it looks a little dirty." It never looked dirty.
We're company men. We're company men. That's why they're company men.
It never looked dirty.
The NHL.
I gotta tell you. And I know people will feel different ways when they put this whole thing in play. One of the biggest protocol things that they would look at was the player's hands and stick down when they delivered the hit. And it's a shame we have to do this, but I understand. I mean, it's not a Mark Messier, you know, elbow to Mike Madonna.
Oh, remember that one?
I get it. You know,
see, that would have been a good time. That would have been a good time for you to play that video right there.
But in the end, I mean, come on, man. So hands and stick are down. If the principal point of contact with your hands and stick down starts in the head, I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says, especially when you hit a player in the middle of the body.
It's impossible not to make contact with
the head, for one. But for two, it goes to show you that the player's looking down, and that's why their head's shooting.
Paulie, even if he's looking up, he's still going to get partial hit in the head when a guy hits you straight on. It's impossible not to.
I know. I agree. All right, we got to move on. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Wild cards here. Pittsburgh, 17-8-5, 39 points.
No, Pretenders.
Wow, pretenders. I'm going to say
Well,
pretenders.
with them, I understand that Crosby's still there, but Malkin's been getting out of the lineup for 5 years now. I'm just exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah.
Letang's getting older. They're all getting older there. Have they played some games this year where they shocked a couple of teams? Absolutely. But
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough to go all the way.
I would agree with you. I would say the Penguins are pretenders. Detroit Red Wings, 15, 13, and 3.
Pretenders.
Absolutely.
They're better than they've been, but they're pretenders.
So we don't really need to go through the bottom of the list, except for I'm going to call out a couple that I'm very surprised with, and it's actually two. Cots, the Boston Bruins, 14, 10, and 2.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough either right now. They've aged a little bit. They've added a lot of people, but what their biggest problem is? If they want to make any moves to improve their team, they've maxed out a lot of players contract-wise on that team. A lot of guys are getting paid a lot of money on that team.
Yeah.
So they'd have to move some young guys in order to think possibly that they could help that team. Their goaltending situation's been iffy so far this year too. Yeah. So I don't see them as a contender. I'm just telling you what I think. I don't know whether I'm going to be right or wrong.
These guys are killing me.
It sounds like it's coming down to my Toronto Maple Leafs.
Phil, you're killing me. Mark Stahl is missed. I can't.
What did I do? Okay, I'm putting my glasses on again.
Phil Russell said Mark Stahl is missed.
Yeah.
I can't. It's hilarious. All right, so the other team, Cots, that I do want to talk about in the East there, that is really surprised to me, and we talked about it prior to the program being live, was the New York Islanders. What the hell? Like you said, last year it was a 2-1 game in Game 7 against the Stanley Cup champion Lightning. I mean, this year, I don't get it. They're 8, 12, and 6. Really at the bottom there. We both can say, we know they're pretenders, but I think that's probably my biggest shocker right now in the East.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. They look like at the end of last season, going 7 with the Stanley Cup champions. I thought maybe they come out like gangbusters this year, but it just goes to show you, Paulie, all our contender pretender picks right now could be all bullshit. The way teams play in the playoff, Montreal was a contender last year. The Islanders were a contender last year in the playoffs, but now look at them both.
Yeah,
now they're horseshit. Both of them. And I don't think Lou Lamoriello is going to be real happy about this because I still stand by Lou Lamoriello as
best GM in sports.
He's one of the greatest GMs in the history of sport. Okay, he never had the bankroll. I've done this a million times. He's never had the bankroll.
No, he's the best.
When he was in Jersey, he had a little bit of a bankroll helping out Brendan Shanahan in Toronto, and nobody expected the Islanders to do what they did last year, and they did it. So Lou, I want to say Lou's pulling his hair up, but it's already gone. I love Lou Lamoriello. I think he's one of the greatest GMs in the history of sport.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me in the chat room. No, I agree with you.
That's good.
It's killing me. All right, let's move over to the Western Conference. We don't have a ton of time left here. Cots,
I love what Phil said there. Lou has won nothing since the salary cap. Maybe they should go back to not paying anybody, then Lou would win everything.
That's true. The shoestring, Devils, budget Devils. Minnesota, 19-9-2. Goal differential is 28. Wow.
Who's that, Minnie?
Yeah. Pretenders or contenders?
Pretenders.
I'm going to flip on you, and I'm going to say they're contenders. I'm going to go with contenders. Here's one I'm interested. Now, I'm going to be honest. I haven't really seen a lot of Nashville hockey, so I'm grasping at straws here. But ranked number 2 in the Central here, 19-10-1. I'm going to say right now, especially in the West, I'm going to say they're contenders.
All right. I said pretenders.
Okay.
Next.
St. Louis Blues, 17-9-5 with 39 points. They actually have the highest goal differential aside of Colorado and Calgary in the entire West. It's interesting. Plus 21. 17-9-5. I'm going to say, man, that's tough. You know what? I'm going to say they're another Western contender. I because there's only two other teams that I like in the West.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I think they're pretenders. I just do.
Phil Russell says their goaltending's an abomination.
Yeah, I don't think they're good enough.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me. Homemade eggnog.
Oh, eggnog's the best. I wish they had that shit all year long instead of the short time that they produce it.
All right. I think you go first. Vegas Golden Knights, 20-11-0. I know they got off to a rough start. They got 40 points, though. What do you think, Cots?
You know, we never talked about this pre-show about Vegas. I like them. They're a big team.
Me too.
They're a big team. They play a good up and down north-south game, but they got some skill and their goaltending's pretty damn good. So I think they're a contender overall. I really do.
I agree. They're probably one of the strongest contenders I have coming out of the West. For sure.
I don't know about that, but
I do.
Got them as a contender.
That's how I feel. All right, here's an interesting one because they got the points. Anaheim, 17-9-6, 40 points.
Pretender.
I agree.
Yeah, don't even just go to the next team.
Flames, 15-7-6, 36 points.
I think they're a contender.
They started off pretty hot.
But you know what? They got everything it takes to play playoff hockey. They are big. They are fast. They got their goaltending's good, decent enough, and that's what it's going to take in the playoffs. The only way you're gonna slow down teams like Edmonton and Toronto and all these fast scoring teams is by having a heavy presence on the ice. I think Calgary has that.
All right.
And they got skill. They got Johnny Gaudreau there. They got other guys there. You know what I mean? They can play with these guys. You know?
Johnny Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. You know. Paulie, blink twice if we need to.
Hey, I got to tell you, Anson, I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, but please friend request me. You're a riot. Everything's safe and sound, buddy. Thanks for caring so much. All right, this is a tough one. Colorado, 17-8-2, 36 points. The funniest thing about this, Cots, and I probably need my cheaters as well, they have one of the highest goal differentials, plus 24. And yet they're looking from the outside with a wild card spot. Again, 17-8-2. I think I go first. I definitely feel that they're a contender.
I'm going to agree with you, but just barely on this one. I'll give you the nod on that. They got a lot of good pieces there. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to shake it up a little bit, I think, to get ahead of that wild card thing. I mean, the one thing you want to do in the playoffs these days is not have to go through the hardest way getting to the Stanley Cup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think Colorado has some pieces, but boy, did they shit the bed last year in the playoffs when everybody thought they were the team.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. But they know, I think they gained some experience. All right, here's another one. We saw some brilliance. Here. The Edmonton Oilers, 18-11-0, 36 points. I'm not sure if you go first or I go first. I think you do. I know where I stand, though.
I know people are going to, jump on me on this. I think they're just in the contender category in my book. It's all no show from them afterwards when it comes to defense for some reason. That would be my only thing that I'd worry about if you were an Edmonton Oilers fan is if your offense gets shut down the way Winnipeg shut them down last year. What are you going to do defensively? Are you going to be able to win a 2-1 game?
Yeah.
Are you going to win a 3-2 game?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
no, they can't. I don't think.
And the other reason, I'm going to be biased here a little bit because Dave Tippett is the head coach there, and he was a teammate of mine. So that's another reason why I'm probably putting him in the contender category. I wish him luck. How's that?
Here we go. Speaking of which I just don't understand because I thought this team just confuses me and has since they've re-entered the league. The Winnipeg Jets, 14-11-5, 33 points, Cots. This team has done such the roller coasters through the years. I mean, I'm gonna say pretender. I feel that they are a pretender, but just like you said, I mean, last year, they were in the playoffs. They've had teams that just I don't know. I'm really confused with this team, but I'm going to definitely say pretender at this point.
They're pretenders. There's too much turmoil going on there right now. Wheeler's hurt. Maurice resigned, the head coach.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of too much turmoil there, and the way they played last year in the playoffs and handled Edmonton, and then they basically fell flat against Montreal. I thought so.
Yeah,
they're not convincing to me.
Exactly, very wishy-washy, up and down. I don't think we have to run through the rest unless there's a specific team you want to talk about between LA, Dallas, San Jose, I know we talked about a little bit about Vancouver, Chicago, Seattle, and obviously Arizona.
I don't see any of them teams contending for a Stanley Cup. But again, nobody saw Montreal's run. Nobody saw the Islanders run. The Blackhawks are in a tough situation. I know you're pointing at the jersey there. One of the best looking jerseys ever, by the way. They got some tough things to do there in Blackhawk land. I mean, you got rumors of Patrick Kane being moved. Taves has not recovered from whatever ailed him last year. They got a lot of young guys on that team now that are putting themselves in a playoff position. But I have no idea what their plan is going forward. Are they going to try to move some of these bigger names like Taves and Kane, who do have I believe $9 to $10 million a year contracts, something like that, which is a heavy load for a team to take on. So I have no idea.
Well,
I don't think they're ready to contend again. Although they're a lot better than I think most people thought they'd be.
The guys are ready for me, Cots. I love it. You guys are the best, by the way, in the chat room. I really do. I am enjoying you there. They want me to talk about what I always talk about, been talking about for probably 10 plus years. I might get up and run in the other room for a minute, but put the camera on you. But the Arizona Coyotes, the Phoenix Coyotes, the old Winnipeg Jet Coyotes, the old.
Listen, they would have beat the Rangers had they not taken those two stupid penalties at the end of the game the other night against them. They played hard.
Yeah, but
it's a disaster there. Period. You know that. I know you want to go ape shit on it, but think about it.
Just move them to Quebec and call it a day.
I agree.
I don't know, and I try not to use this word. I'm not gonna, but I don't know what the frig the NHL is doing. It's ridiculous. I mean, I remember 7 years ago we talked about the Coyotes were being half financed by the NHL, for crying out loud. I mean, it's such a ridiculous mess, and it's just a black eye in the face of. And then the other part about that really bothers me, and it just shows you the greed and the terrible decision making. Bringing in Seattle, great idea. I believe Seattle is going to be successful as far as having a hockey club. But why not have moved instead of creating a new club? Why not have moved that club? That Arizona has clearly stated that they cannot support this team, and they really don't even want a hockey team. What are they doing on that level of the NHL to say, we're going to bring in a whole new franchise, we're going to do a lottery, we're going to steal more players, when you have an existing franchise that just does nothing but struggle, can't put people in the seats, can't seem to pay the bills, can't get it right, and you're going to add another franchise, and here we are just sitting along the desert waiting for the Coyotes to eat our meat. I don't get it.
Well, it's Gary Bettman's baby. It always has been. Think about it. It has. It's always been his baby. And he's gone on record to say that, that all that rent, not paying the rent on time, and that they're in good situations. So you tell me. I know it's Pete and repeat time. I've said it before. I feel bad for anybody in that organization, present or past, that tried to help that organization out. Whether you were GM, a vice president of the team, players for that team, players present, GM and management, coaching present. I feel bad for them. I mean, those guys want to play hockey. They're happy to be in the NHL. They want to do good. But the financial support and the support of the area is just not there.
Agreed.
But it's Gary Bettman's baby, and he refuses to admit it, that it's been a mistake.
Yeah.
He's never, ever wavered on that. Gary's never wavered on that. He's always propped them up, and he continues to prop them up.
But he had no, they had no, exactly, and they had no problem, relinquishing the Atlanta Thrashers, because they didn't have the support. The team wasn't supported. They couldn't bring the income in.
Paulie, no offense to the people of Atlanta, but they have one of the worst cities when it comes to supporting their football team, baseball team.
Yeah.
So the only time they cared about Atlanta is when the Braves were good.
The Braves. That's it. That's the only team. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Once they haven't supported their football team like they did back in the old days. They haven't supported their baseball team. Why did they go back to Atlanta as good a guess as yours? I guess it was the greed of the money. I wish it worked in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. I think that's a good thing for, like Florida and Tampa and all this stuff, that triangle crap, of cities. But, nah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everybody makes mistakes. They've made mistakes. NHL's made mistakes, but the problem I think most people have is don't be afraid to admit it once in a while. Don't think that you're the greatest gurus and geniuses at the NHL offices and ownership to not admit your guilt once in a while that you blew it.
Anson, I agree with you.
I think that's what fans want.
Yeah.
Where's Anson?
Anson did make a real comment, and I agree with you. It's good. It's good money after bad in Arizona for sure.
There you go, Anson. Just for shits and giggles, okay? There you go. A little Popeye the Sailor for you. Or how about this one? Little Mickey Mantle.
Nice. That's cool. That's really friggin' cool.
What else I got for you here? Oh,
you got some good stuff in the background there, Cotsy.
I got too much stuff. That's the problem. I think I have a hockey one here somewhere. Oh, well, I can't find it right now. So
you got some good stuff there. All right, I think we're going to end off with just some brief thoughts on the New York Rangers, Cots. We're running a little bit over time here.
Yeah, well, again, I didn't want to put them in a pretender spot. I mean, I think they've surpassed. Like I think I've said that many times to people, often on this show. They've surpassed everybody. Well, everybody's thoughts of how they would do so far this year. I mean, think about it. I mean, you can't complain with their record. I mean,
no, you can't.
I don't think anybody expected that, but I think for them to really, really, really get into the serious talk of being a Stanley Cup contender, that defense has to tighten up a little bit more. You have to hope that Shesterkin can stay healthy. He seems to get, wounded every now and then, and that's not a good thing. I think Georgiev did a great job. To the naysayers out there who don't like him, I think Georgiev's a pretty good goalie. I think he lost confidence, but he showed during this, injury to Shesterkin that he can play.
I wouldn't disagree
You
at all.
need Panarin back healthy. You need Zibanejad to play like the top 10 centerman I think he is in this league. He's starting to.
He had a great game against Vegas, but that was the first game
but he needs to get better as they go forward.
Absolutely.
But I also think some of the younger guys got to start showing their wares. Why you were picked second overall, and why you were picked first overall. And the other guy that's still a big enigma to me is you love the guy Hedl. Like, he looks the part, but doesn't play the part.
Well, I'm kind of hoping. Listen, if we're calling
Listen,
it out.
you hear the phone? Gary Bettman's calling right now. Watch this. I'm going to put Ron Greshner on. Gresh, you're calling me in the middle of my show.
What show is that?
Just keep talking. People can hear you. I'm on the show right now. Instigators Hockey. And you're on too. This is Ron Greshner, people calling me.
What up, buddy?
Paulie D says hello.
Kick your ass.
He says he's going to kick your ass. Did you hear that?
Yeah. All right. Stand in line, big boy.
He goes stand in line, big boy.
That's a lot of stuff like that going around.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that going around, he said. You're not going to beat Gresh on the one-liners.
I know. Good soil, Saskatchewan.
What's going on? You can go ahead, Paul. You can finish the show. What's all going on? We got a Ron Greshner call here, folks. Just letting you know.
I was calling you because I wanted to make sure that you knew that it's Christmas coming up because you're a Grinch.
Oh, Christmas is overrated. You know that. Come on.
No, just for you.
Well, no, it's overrated. All it does is cost you money.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, okay.
Ron Greshner.
Can you hear him, Paulie?
I can hear him. Yeah, I can hear him.
All right.
He's breaking
We'll
your.
have to get your.
He's breaking your balls a little bit. I like it.
Well, yeah, it's okay. He does that. He does that.
He always does that.
But you know what? Speaking of, we're gonna have to get this big-nosed sloth on here one day too.
Actually, I'd like to get him on, but I don't know, Cots. Does he even have the technology? I know you. You tell me he's a dinosaur, so I don't know.
What, he's on the show every week with Tommy Laidlaw, so I think he understands how to do it. Okay. He goes on Tommy Laidlaw's show every week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he understands how to do that. What's that, Chris?
On your show, he use a flip phone to get on.
Yeah, we can use a flip phone. You hear that? To get on our show. Listen, I got a wide screen for my big melon, but we're going to need a triple wide for that schnoz of yours.
Oh, buddy, here we go. I just want you to know, everyone.
Do any profiles? I'll just look straight
Yeah, I want you to turn sideways so everybody can see that wonderful profile side view.
These guys will be relentless with each other.
Oh,
it's hilarious.
Somebody's in our chat room says Ron still calls from the landline.
I have a landline. I didn't know there was a lot of guests on any one of those.
Yeah. Oh, see, You're not going to beat Gress on the one-liners, guys.
Oh, my God.
Good luck in the chat room. You're just not going to beat him. He's one of the best ever.
Hey, real quick, while you got him on the line,
Yeah.
we're going to close out, but ask him how he feels about the Rangers. Are they pretenders or contenders?
Oh, okay. Okay. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think they're not pretenders. I think they have a good team. And a few years ago, me and Cots were talking about me because Vinicius had I thought he was an average to good, forward, centerman, whatever. But now I changed my mind. I think he's on the forefront of being a great one.
Wow.
And he's one of the guys that drives that team, although everybody says it's Fox for Darren.
No.
The Jazz going, that team goes.
I agree with you.
No, I mean, listen, I love Panarin. My mother passed away in August, and she loved Panarin. She called him the little guy, right? And I think Fox is an unbelievable D.
Yeah.
The game today, he can really run with it because that's what the game's like today. There's no hacking, slashing, holding, gripping, punching out to the whistle with no calls.
Right.
It doesn't happen anymore, right?
No, I agree.
And, I used to go play Philadelphia. I carried the puck. I looked like I was in a knife fight in my back.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I agree with all that. Like I've said it to you on our chats on the phone, and I said it to Paulie too. In today's game, I think Fox right now is probably the best defenseman in the league when it comes to stick handling and maneuverability and his agility. I mean, it's like he's in a phone booth and he's able to get out of trouble all the time with his maneuverability. That is so key, like you said, today's game, because what you just said is so true. I mean, even the good ones got sloshed back in our day, but today
Everybody got it.
yeah.
If you didn't get the first time down, you missed them. You got them the second time down. Because they weren't going to beat you the same way twice. But anyway, if you go by I think Hedman's a great defenseman,
And so is the guy Makar, what is his name there in Colorado?
Makar, I think those three guys are the top three in the league, and right behind them is Ekblad from
Nashville? Oh, from Florida.
and then these are new too, right there too, I think.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
you have to have one of those guys on your team to win the Stanley Cup. You go back, Letang in Pittsburgh,
Yep.
Audi in LA.
Yep.
They had I think
You just said it. Hedman in Tampa. I mean,
yeah. And he's a guy that can play 30 minutes in the big games and not make any mistakes. And Hedman did that. I mean, plus, the Tampa's kind of an exception. They probably have the best goalie in the world too, so that's makes it a little easier too.
yeah.
Listen, before you go, I hate to say it, but I think the Rangers are pretenders right now. I don't think they're contenders because I think their defense, and I'm not talking about defensemen, I'm talking about their defense in general, needs to get a little tighter because, you saw over the last 6 to 8 games, Gress, if they don't score goals, you can't give up any. You know what I mean? And they haven't been scoring goals at any great rate the last 6 to 8 games. So when you get in the playoffs, you're going to have to play that 2-1 game. You know what I'm saying? And they've struggled in that kind of game. They have.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with you that the last 6 or 8 games there have been some ups and downs and miscues or whatever. But every good team has one of those. Teams that were good have bad stretches. So now you have to see after Christmas how they come out of it. They come out of it on the same path, and that could be trouble.
No, I agree. I think like you said, Zibbs is a key. Panarin obviously is key. Kreider's key. I hate to say it, but Strome's one of them too. He's got to pick it up a little bit. But I think for them to go forward, they got to tighten up their D a little bit, and you need more from Lafreniere, Kakko, and the biggest enigma on this team, Hedl. We've been waiting on him for 5 years. I have no idea when or if it's ever going to happen.
Oh, that long already?
Oh, yeah.
Show tunes. Just
Yeah.
so they answer.
It's been that long. He came in as an 18-year-old, remember?
Wow.
I remember watching him at a pregame skate opening.
I just think his talent is just just waiting for him. I'm still waiting for him to blossom. And I know, Cots, we've talked about this too, but, you had said for a long time, and we spoke about Kreider for a long time. And, Kreider came in, he was quick, just a big bodied player. And it took him so long to figure out. And it's really the first time, I think, this year we discussed it. It's the first time I feel like Chris really knows what his role is, or at least understands his responsibilities, his big body in front of the net, winning the small battles in the corners, making his presence known, using his physicality, be able to deflect pucks. It took him, he's what now? He's 10, 11 years in the league. He didn't get it in the first 5, 7 years. And to be open and honest, you had said for the longest time, he's got the talent. He's not getting. He's not understanding where he's supposed to be, what he's supposed to be doing. And I think finally in the last little while we've seen that.
Something like Steve Vickers was. We used to call Steve Vickers 3.5 because that was the range of his goals. 3 feet 5 inches on the net. He never scored a slap shot, never scored anywhere. And Kreider within 3 feet of the blue paint, that's his home.
Right.
If outside that, he'll go back to being the old Chris Kreider.
Right.
He knows he gets in there to fight pucks now. You can't knock the guy down. He's too strong. No D can knock him down now.
I've been saying it since the beginning. Unfortunately, I've been able to whisper in his ear.
But my point is that
I've always said, Paul, have I not all of a sudden, Grush, you can agree, you can back this up. I don't want him touching the puck until it's 3 feet in front of the net.
Yeah, no, you always said it. But I think my point, what I'm trying to say is, I know you feel like the time is really close for Hedl. I just see his brilliance. He seems like he sees the ice well. He seems like his hands and his natural gifted abilities, he just hasn't put it all together yet. And I think that's what we're looking for. But you also made a great point. It's not like he gets first line minutes, Cots.
Oh, well, you earn your first line minutes, though, Paulie. He's been there for 5 years. There's been a lot of changes in between. I hope the best for him. Don't get me wrong. Man, the kid can skate. He can stick handle it, but he just doesn't produce.
Yeah.
I don't care what you tell me. And you're still hanging on like another 5 years till it clicks. I have no idea when it's going to click with him. I don't.
No, I get it. I understand. I understand what you're saying.
All right, listen, I'd like to talk to you guys a lot more, but I have to go. I have to sort my sock drawer.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, sure you do.
We're about to end the show, so
yeah. Listen, I will call you after the show.
No, I want to answer. I'm going to sleep.
You better answer it. You ain't going to sleep.
Yeah, I got to go to sleep. I'm tired.
Yeah, sure. That's what happens when you're 70 years old.
These guys didn't kill me.
I'll be 70 before you are, but you won't make it.
Yeah, if I don't make it, I don't make it. Oh, well.
Ron deleted his Facebook page, didn't he?
No, he got suspended for saying bad shit.
I got suspended for saying about what
And Phil Collins is right on the chat page. Conciolo said that damn Obama was a bum also. Yes, he was. Anyhow. All right, listen, I'll call you right after. We're going to be done here.
Thanks, Thresh.
Talk to you later.
You just hang
Well,
on.
a little bonus for everybody out there.
That was a bonus. That was fun. That's awesome stuff. I think that's the best way to end the show.
Listen,
I mean,
and Anson, Gresh and Cotsy singing show tunes. I don't think you'll get Cotsy doing it, but Gresh will do anything for money.
we're gonna have him on the show soon too.
Oh,
He's a lot of fun too. A lot of fun. But with that being said, I mean, I don't know any better way to close out the program, Cots.
Yeah, well, it was a good show. I appreciate all the people with their comments. You guys are a bunch of comedians, but at least you're interested in listening to our bullshit. That's a good thing. I think in the next year, the new year coming up, again, I want to get some about 15 minutes of interviews with guys like Derek Langdon, Paul Gardner. There's going to be a lot of people that I'm going to call upon, but I think I want to get Darren Langdon on first. He's going to be the first, and I know Ranger fans will remember him. He's just an honest to goodness good guy. Period. Off the ice, on the ice, we all know what he was. He was a tough individual. Played a role that not many can really play. In the NHL back then, and he's just a really good guy, and I really like him, so I want to hear his story from the time he started playing hockey, how he made his way to pro hockey, and all that stuff there. And I want to give him good times. So that's it. And Paul Gardner too. He's a former high draft choice in the NHL. And his brother played, Paul Gardner, and his dad was a superstar in Toronto with the Leafs back in the olden days. I just want to hear that life story too. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gentlemen,
we're going to do that.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate everyone in the chat room. You guys are great. Thanks for keeping the humor, and I had a great time. It was a fun show. With that being said, everyone,
Merry Christmas and ho 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 to everybody.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and
more eggnog there, Barry. More eggnog, Barry.
And then we're gonna probably, I would say, the week after Christmas, we'll figure out when we're gonna go live again, and we're gonna get on a little more of a regiment schedule now that we've found StreamYard, and we'll be able to get through the new year and feel like we have a much better display. So
this was a good show because I think this StreamYard worked out pretty well, and I want to thank Barry Shelley for it again. Tipped me off, and your brother tipping you off, and I think this is a much better format for us to use. And the people that commented, keep doing it. Keep watching.
Yes. I want a quick shout out before I end it out. I want a quick shout out to Beth. Beth, get well. I know you're battling. You just keep battling. We love you. We appreciate everything that you do in the group.
Yes.
You're going to beat this thing, and we got you. So thank you again for just being such a great help and such a great producer of the Instigator Hockey Show.
Okay, Paulie, I'm glad you did that. I just want to mention the passing of Kurt Ridley, goaltender in the NHL. Played for the Rangers, played for Atlanta, played for the Vancouver Canucks. He was a friend of mine on Facebook, and he was a friend of a lot of people on Facebook, and communicated back and forth. And he just passed away a little while ago, and I want to send out my condolences to his family and friends. And I'm at that age too, Paulie. So this kind of gets to me when it comes to stuff like this. Just want to send my condolences out to everybody.
Yep. Amen. Good night, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.